Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, what am I really doing with my life? Not just where you work, not just who you know, but why you exist at all. In a world where comfort is cheap and distraction is constant, there's a crisis no one wants to admit. It's not economic, it's not political, it's spiritual. Millions of men walk through life aimless, disconnected, numbed by routine. Not because they're lazy, but because they've lost one essential truth. Every man needs a mission. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join a growing brotherhood of men who are awakening, not just to who they are, but to who they were meant to be. This is Men and Masculinity, where we go deep, challenge the lies, and reignite the fire inside. Now, let's begin. From the moment civilizations began carving stories into stone, one pattern has repeated over and over. The story of the man with a mission. Gilgamesh journeyed beyond death to find meaning. Odysseus sailed home not for comfort, but for purpose. Even Christ walked not to please men, but to fulfill a divine assignment. Yet today, many men drift. Wake up, scroll, work, numb out, sleep, repeat. There's no call to arms. No great task, just a quiet feeling that something's missing, something primal. But what if that thing isn't out there in the world? What if it's already in you? Sleeping? Science now shows that purpose isn't just some feel-good idea, it's biochemical. Men with a strong mission, whether it's building a business, protecting their family, or mastering a craft, have higher testosterone, better focus, more resilience. Their brains light up in different patterns. Their hearts beat stronger under stress. But more than that, their eyes carry something rare, conviction. Because when a man knows his why, he can endure almost any how. But here's the catch. Missions aren't given, they're forged. In fire and failure, in the silence of early mornings, in the chaos of setbacks. And not all missions look grand on the outside. For some, it's raising a child with honor. For others, it's tearing down generational curses. For you, only you can know. But if you've ever felt like a lion trapped in a zoo, comfortable, well-fed, but deeply, hopelessly unsatisfied, it's probably because you're living without the hunt. No chase, no danger, no calling. And make no mistake, a man without a mission is a danger to himself and to others. Think of the school shooter, the drug addict, the abuser, all symptoms of the same disease. Aimlessness. Let's rewind. Ancient Sparta. Boys weren't told to follow their dreams. At age 7, they were taken from their mothers and thrown into the agage, a brutal training ground where weakness was burned out and purpose was hammered in. Harsh, yes. Cruel, maybe. But by manhood, they knew one thing. They were born for war. Their mission wasn't optional. It was life. Fast forward to today. Boys are told they're too aggressive, too loud, too competitive. We drug their instincts, shame their ambition, and reward passive compliance. And we wonder why they grow into men who can't look themselves in the eye. But here's what they never told you. Masculinity isn't toxic. It's sacred. It's powerful. But without a mission to aim it, it becomes destructive. A sword without a target will always cut the wrong thing. That's why your mission matters. It's not about money or fame. It's about direction. Meet James, 38 years old. Corporate job, nice car. Everyone thought he had it all, except James. Every day felt like a copy-paste of the last. Until one morning, after a panic attack in traffic, he pulled over and wept. Not because he was weak, but because he was lost. That night, he wrote one sentence in his journal. What would make me proud of myself again? 3 months later, he left the job, started volunteering with troubled teens. Now he runs his own mentorship program for fatherless boys. He says he makes less money, but sleeps better than he has in years. Because for the first time in his life, he's aimed. And that's the secret. Your mission might not look like what the world celebrates, but you'll feel it when you find it. Because men weren't built for ease. We were built for impact. Still, some of you might be thinking, what if I don't know what my mission is? What if I'm too late? The answer is simple. It's never too late. But it is urgent. There's a storm coming. No, not outside. Inside. The longer you live without purpose, the more numb you become, and the numbness is subtle. It shows up as oversleeping, overeating, overthinking. You say, "I'm just tired," but your soul knows the truth and you're untested, and untested men never know who they are. That's why rites of passage existed in ancient cultures, to initiate boys into mission-ready men. The Maasai sent their young warriors into the wild to face lions. The Vikings took to sea with no promise of return. Even monks walked barefoot into the desert to confront their own demons. Each challenge stripped them bare, until only the mission remained. We don't do that anymore. Now we hand boys iPhones and call them men. We protect them from pain, and in doing so, we rob them of growth. But you, watching this now, have a choice. You can wake up, you can rewrite the script, you can declare, "I will not live this year the same way I lived the last." You can choose your mission, but how? The question isn't if you were made for a mission. The question is, will you step into it? And that journey doesn't start with noise. It starts with silence, not in front of a screen, not surrounded by opinions, but in solitude. That's where the whispers become clear. That's where a man meets himself. Every man's mission begins with a haunting question. What breaks your heart or sets it on fire? Your answer lives there, in the tension, in the ache, in the thing you can't stop thinking about late at night, even though no one told you to care. Maybe it's helping others escape addiction. Maybe it's building something that will outlive you. Maybe it's restoring your family's broken legacy. But it must be real, because false missions built on ego or validation, collapse the moment adversity arrives. And adversity will arrive. That's the second truth of any real mission. It costs something. You will lose friends. You will be misunderstood. You will doubt yourself. But that friction is not the enemy. It's the forge. It's the heat that separates amateurs from warriors. And in that heat, the world either breaks you or reveals you. Think of the Navy SEALs Hell Week. 6 days of sleep deprivation, brutal physical exertion, total psychological warfare. Why? Because they don't want boys with dreams. They want men with drive. Men who, when everything is stripped away, comfort, sleep, safety, still choose to move forward. That's the kind of man a mission creates. You don't need to be a soldier, but you do need to fight, because the enemies of your mission are subtle. Distraction, comfort, excuses. They dress up like harmless habits, but they rob you of greatness. One more hour on the couch, one more week saying someday, one more year watching other men chase their purpose while you scroll, wondering where the time went. The clock is ticking. History is filled with men who woke up too late. Artists who never painted. Fathers who never showed up. Leaders who gave their power to fear. But it's also filled with men who rose in the second half. Colonel Sanders didn't build KFC until he was in his 60s. Viktor Frankl, imprisoned in a Nazi death camp, wrote a book that changed the world, Man's Search for Meaning. Because even surrounded by death, he discovered a truth. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. That's the secret. Purpose is more powerful than pleasure, more sustaining than happiness, more clarifying than applause. It gives structure to chaos. It gives meaning to pain. And it gives you a reason to rise, especially when it would be easier to quit. And here's the beauty of it all. You don't have to start perfectly. You just have to start. Make a list. Take a risk. Sign up. Speak up. Show up. Do the hard thing. You might stumble. You might fall. But every step forward puts more distance between who you were and who you're becoming. And he, the man on the horizon arm, is worth fighting for. Because when a man has a mission, everything changes. He walks differently. He speaks with weight. He doesn't chase approval. He commands respect. Not with arrogance, but with presence. Because people feel it when a man knows why he wakes up in the morning. The world doesn't need more passive men. It needs men who build, protect, create, restore. Men who lead with purpose and love with fire. Men who are not perfect, but pursuing. Not entitled, but disciplined. Not lost, but forged. And here's the twist no one tells you. Your mission isn't just for you. It's for the people watching you. The young boy who needs a role model. The woman praying for a real man. The community waiting for someone to build what's missing. You are the answer to someone's silent prayer. So if you're waiting for permission, this is it. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the first one. And if you fall, good. Fall forward. Get up harder. Every scar becomes part of your testimony. Every failure adds gravity to your voice. Every lonely night prepares you to lead others through their own. But never forget, a man without a mission becomes a slave to distraction. While the world argues over nonsense, men on a mission stay focused. While others complain, they execute. While the mediocre sleep in, they sharpen their minds, their bodies, and their will. And while others age without meaning, they live with intention. You were born for something more than survival. You were built to conquer, build, restore, create. You are not here by accident, and deep down you know that. So what will you do with this fire? Ask yourself tonight before the noise comes back, before the distractions return. What's my mission? Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Then write it, speak it, live it, and never ever let it die. Because a man with a mission is unstoppable, and the world is waiting for you. If this spoke to something inside you, hit that like button and drop your mission in the comments below. Let the world know you're stepping up. And if you haven't already, subscribe. This is just the beginning. Welcome to the Brotherhood.